Alrighty, Kansas, let's do this thing. It is the Press Box on 1410 93.9 KGSO. KGSO Studios brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Installation done right on schedule. Taking a peek at our schedule today, we'll talk about some Chief injuries. We'll talk about some shocker news of the men's basketball team. A new opponent for the 2027 season has been found in the non-con. We'll talk about that. We'll talk with Micaela Day from Cake Sports here at about 20. We'll continue our Hall of Fame Monitor series that we started yesterday, kind of just taking it by a position group per day. We'll go to the running backs around 5 o'clock. A lot of news from the NFL coming in today with Bijan Robinson, his deal. Baker Mayfield still maybe waiting on his deal. There's been some injuries here in camp. Never good to see. Katie's active on social media. Rodgers has been going off. Maybe we'll get to that at the end of the show. But some exciting local topics. Guys, keep in mind, we are on the SC Wichita app, KGSO.com. Streaming live here on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Drop your comments at any portion of the show. Watch back shows in their entirety. And, of course, call us on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines, 316-522-1410. Sasha Bushka, how you doing, my friend?
Feeling great. Shockers got a new marquee game on the schedule. Excited about that. It's going to be a good show today.
All right, let's go to the phones here. As I said, courtesy of Maximum Outdoor Equipment. You are inside the press box. How are you?
Hey, Jay.
What's up?
What's up?
Do you think Mahomes or someone would throw around 6,000 yards
No.
Ooh, in a single season?
in a single season?
I do not. 5,000 isn't even getting hit with very much regularity anymore. And 6,000's never been touched. I'll look up here in a second what the all-time record is for yards in a season, passing yards. But if anything, it kind of peaked out in maybe like 2018, and it's been trending down a little bit the last several years with run games coming back. Even Mahomes, like he had a 5,000-yard season his first year as a starter, and then that's gone down to around 4,000 the last few years. So I don't see it happening.
Dakota, I think the difference is the secondaries are doing a better job of disguising their looks in the pre-snap here compared to about 8 years ago. You do have Peyton Manning with the lead here, by the way.
Yeah.
Drew Brees right behind him from 2011. Tom Brady, 5,300 yards. Mahomes is there at fourth. Someone first needs to hit 5.5K before we talk about 6,000.
Yeah, if they're adding more games in the future, you might see maybe 6,000 if they're trying to take out most of the preseason games.
Yeah, I could see it in range with an 18-game season, right? It's 17 right now because Manning and Breeze, the top two on the list, did it in a 16-game season. You give them 2 more games that year, 6,000's maybe in reach.
Oh yeah,
with an 18-game season, but I
hope not.
It's a big number, man. You're gonna that's a lot of track meets you're playing in.
You would need 333 yards per game of offense. I want to say that's around what Manning and Breeze were putting up back in their respective seasons. But, yeah, 18 games, 333 yards per. If we even get there, that's a tough ask. And honestly, with the expansion, with playing in other countries, it feels inevitable from Roger Goodell and these owners that they will add an 18th game to the schedule, maybe a 20-week season with a couple buys in there. But I hope we can kind of just stand pat. I honestly wish that we were at 16 games still.
I still like the 16 games.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. More football doesn't bother me. I wasn't clamoring for an extra game, but we have it now, so I'll live with it.
Yeah, I would live with it too.
Yeah.
If more injuries happen, they might take it down to 16.
Yeah, the Players Union's fighting pretty hard against the 18 games, but you know what 18 games means? It means an 18th game check, and so sometimes it's hard to keep the players in lockstep on that stuff. But what you got anything else for us, Dakota?
No, that's all.
All right, appreciate the call.
We'll see you, dude. 522-1410 if you want to call this show. Looking here to Facebook. Devin, Rumor has it Mahomes, oh boy, faked his injury. Conspiracy theory, crack me up. What, you got the tinfoil hat on, Devin?
He does have a tinfoil. I saw somebody say that on Twitter too, because he wasn't posting a bunch of rehab videos there. Like, he must have, like, it literally happened live on TV. His injury happened live on TV. We all saw his ACL tear.
Look, man, things can be maybe faked on TV, but Devin, I don't think this is one of them. Mahomes is looking great. He's bouncing around. He's jumping in practice. But I even remember from the moment that Mahomes tore his ACL, I said, I think he's going to be ready to go week 1. I think Mahomes, kind of with the crown, I mean, most accomplished quarterback right now in today's game, he's just going to have access to things I don't know if every quarterback in the league is going to have access to, man. He might go to other countries for treatments, XYZ. I kind of always had the mentality that the best of the best athletes at the top of the line probably get the best treatment out there.
You can say access. I think, like, if you're an NFL starting quarterback, you have everything that you need access to, regardless of whether you're Patrick Mahomes or not. The reality is the guy had a high ankle sprain that usually puts people out for a month and played 3 more playoff games with it. Like, he's tough, his pain management is good, and he heals fast, right?
But
and even when he hurt his kneecap in 2022, I think it was, it might have been actually 2019. I don't remember. One of those years he missed a few games with the kneecap, but he came back significantly faster than people expected.
Toughening through a sprained ankle is a lot different than trying to recover from an ACL injury. I don't think you toughen through a recovery.
You don't toughen through it, you recover, but
right.
he's recovered fast from injuries as well.
They talk a lot about, and he probably doesn't give it his fair credit with this, to be honest, about how much work Mahomes has done in the weight room, and we even heard the quote, hey, he feels stronger than ever in that aspect. I think that mentality, kind of the work that Mahomes has done in the weight room, has just translated over to a ton of knee rehab. And so that work ethic is still there. And
people like to laugh about his body and stuff, but the reality is, you show me a ripped quarterback, I'll show you a quarterback that stinks. And so Mahomes isn't like an Adonis with the body, but he does the right things in the weight room, and he's always worked hard in the weight room. He knows that, like, there's different skill sets for quarterbacks than a running back or a receiver.
And even someone who's 12% body fat, if you have them drink water for 3 hours and then they're exhaling and they're not looking at a camera flexing their abs, they're going to look a little poofy regardless. So, all right, let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines once again. You are inside the press box. How are you?
I'm fine. If you remember how they did the surgery, it was done right away. And only one other person that ever had it like that, where they didn't wait. The next day, I want to say, he was in there on the surgery block and getting it, and that helped with the time frame. They said that was different than how they'd ever had it before. He was so quick to get that knife that the healing properties helped out. Now listen off air. Thanks, guys.
I want to say that you have a little bit of a period of time after you tear a ligament before they can go in and operate. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a surgeon. But what I do know is Mahomes is looking robotic out there in a good way.
Yeah, I've heard, like, there's varying philosophies on that, right? Sometimes guys wait several weeks before they get the surgery. Some guys do it right away, and there you can go online and one article will tell you, like, getting the surgery immediately is going to help you recover faster. The other will say it has no bearing. And so, like, it's really hard to tell with medical technology how it works. It's the same question with Achilles, right? Do I want the surgery within like a day? They said the same thing about Jason Tatum, right? He had the surgery quick, and so he came back quick, or somebody in the NBA with an Achilles. And so I think I've heard doctors on the radio on basically say that's not true. It doesn't work like that. But so you can kind of hear it both ways, and I think the science is unclear. But Mahomes had the surgery quick, and maybe that helped him.
I think what is clear is that we're seeing a lot of improvements across the medical field, and maybe what was 10, 20 years ago an automatic 12 months, you're out, you're done, before you even think about getting back and ramping up. Now that timeline is severely diminished.
Yeah, and you look at Daniel Jones, he's doing the same thing in Indy. It's not getting as much attention, but he tore his Achilles late or around the same time that Mahomes tore his ACL, and he's he's fully participating in training camp.
And
as
we're
well.
seeing, like, all right, if you tear your PCL and your LCL and your meniscus is shattered, that is where it separates the difference between, like, a usual, maybe a full 12 months. And if it's just the ACL, I know Mahomes tore a few things, but maybe if you don't tear all your knee, you can get back in about 8 to 9 months. So, all right, I did want to sort of parlay this into some other recent Chief injuries here. Cyrus Allen, Chiefs kind of feared the worst initially when he was carted off. He was unable to put full weight onto his leg. Cyrus Allen is I'm seeing a second-string wide receiver here on the depth chart for the Kansas City Chiefs. But luckily, this is kind of the best-case scenario. It was just a bone bruise to his shin. That's going to be a gnarly bone bruise. But when you take, like, a helmet to the shin, sometimes you don't exactly know what happened, and he could be out for a little bit of time, but should be ready to go for the start of the season. Xavier Worthy, I would say, a little bit more concerning here because this is an injury to his shoulder that he has already had surgery on from this past winter as he had the dislocation last season. Initially, people were saying, hey, red flags, but Andy Reid, the cool, calm, cheeseburger-eating guy, said, hey, look, it's a minor sprain. He's going to be returning to practice shortly.
It's not ideal, right? You had surgery to make that stronger, and you're already spraining it, and so that's not great. It's interesting. Before the show, I was doing some research to get ready for the show, but also just because it's stuff I'm interested in. I was kind of talking to Google about the Chiefs camp and kind of the players that have been looking the best and looking the worst and seeing what the internet says about it. And the first two players that popped up were Xavier Worthy and Cyrus Allen on the good side. And then they also popped up at the bottom on the potentially injured side. And so it's disappointing, right, to see those nagging injuries. Hopefully Cyrus Allen's back out in a couple of days. He's a 5th-round pick, and there's a competition for reps at receiver, right? We know Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are going to get reps, but Xavier Worthy's had a couple of injury problems. Rashee Rice, he's had injury problems. And then you're sometimes going to have 3 receivers on the field. So you got Tyquan Thornton, you got Cyrus Allen, you got Jalen Royals. And those 3 guys are going to compete for that 3rd spot of who's on the field in 3 wide receiver sets and who's on the field if one of those other guys misses. I do like the fact that it's a competition between those 3 guys rather than like retreads like Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood Brown. I'm glad they're moving on and letting some of these younger guys who have an upside develop and have a chance at playing time, because if you just continue to play the old veterans, then those young guys never get better. So I like to see that they're kind of turning the page in that wide receiver room.
I'll make one more point here about Xavier Worthy, and I don't mean for this to be a harsh one whatsoever. We got some comments here on Facebook I'll get to in just a moment. Xavier Worthy is entering year 3. My hope would have been by this point, and I'm not inside that Chiefs locker room, I'm not, putting a scale up, underneath his feet. But Xavier Worthy, I've seen still, like, on the current Chiefs roster, listed as 165 pounds, and that's about the weight he came into the NFL at. And I know the game has changed, right? You change the game, you change the rules, the personnel will follow, and speed kills, agility kills. This guy, he set the combine record for a reason, but I wonder if maybe it's a mentality from not just him and his camp, but maybe from the Chiefs as well, to keep him slim, keeping him like a top apex Tyreek Hill level speed. But when you start to rack up some injuries, and like your shoulder is probably the most important thing outside of your knees and your key ligaments for catching a football, dude. That's very important.
Yeah.
I want to see Xavier Worthy beef up just a little bit, guys. Anyone can put the work in the weight room. I almost now think it's kind of a Chiefs thing. They are kind of concerned about him losing speed if he puts on muscle.
To a certain extent, your frame is your frame, though, right? Like he could put on muscle, right? And you can gain weight no matter what your frame is. But if you have like a certain weight that you're most athletic at, there's no guarantee that he could put on 20 pounds and stay athletic.
I'm
right?
not even
like,
asking
it's not
for 20
bodybuilding.
pounds.
It's not. I know, but like we don't see very many guys gain weight from college to the NFL. And vice versa. Like sometimes offensive linemen will slim down, right? Because they have extra body fat on them that they can get rid of, or even defensive linemen. But you don't see a lot of skill positions change around their weight that much from college to the NFL.
Running backs increase their size, I gotta say, arms and legs. I'm thinking this. I of course care nothing about the physique of a Xavier Worthy. I care about the production of a Xavier Worthy. I'm just saying, hey, maybe a little bit more rear delt exercises, rotator cuff exercises, serratus. Xavier, I could tell you all about those things if you need some help. But yeah, buddy, I would say just, keep your health first, and maybe the weight room can help. Devin Stein, we got both Devins here on the Facebook feed. Hard Knocks tonight, Eve. Sea Chickens, the Seahawks. I hear they're in Hard Knocks. Devin Stein, you're going to be watching it. I've seen with Mike McDonald and then Devin Slang. You know what they say? Drink more water. I haven't really been a Hard Knocks guy. I do enjoy seeing the clips. I feel like a lot kind of gets leaked, but I understand sort of what these documentaries entail. I don't know if the Seahawks are at the top of my list for a team that I kind of want to learn the insides and outs. I feel like that's kind of a pretty mature organization. They're coming off of a Super Bowl. There's really not too much drama with them right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, that they got the Seahawks, because generally it's been bad teams that get Hard Knocks, because there's all these loopholes that you can decline Hard Knocks if you're at a certain, if you haven't had a winning season in 2 years, or you're in last place, then you have to do Hard Knocks if they ask you to. There's a bunch of rules. I've looked it up before. I don't have any interest in doing it again. But somehow they got the Super Bowl champ this year, so maybe they went to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks were like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And that's kind of cool to have a team near the top of the league as the Hard Knocks subject, I guess. But I don't really watch it either.
The funniest part of Hard Knocks, or docu-series kind of related to that, the reality NFL TV shows, right, is the moment where the coach is given a hard talk, and maybe it's not in Hard Knocks, it's in these other docs, but the coach eventually looks over at the camera and guy's like, yeah, you got to get out. I'm about to say something I don't want on film. And so that to me kind of is the funniest part.
Yeah. If they have a first-year head coach, they can decline. If they made the playoffs in either of the prior 2 seasons, they can decline. But they start by looking for volunteers. Then they can force someone after that.
All right, guys. You may have heard about it about an hour or so ago, but we can still call this breaking news here on KGSO as Wichita State men's basketball. They're headed west to Lake Tahoe, I hear, for a projected top 15 matchup in the non-con, and none other than the Trojans from University of Southern California, USC. Paul Mills and the Shockers. Look, they've picked up some nice recruits. They're picking up some nice games here in the non-con. I know it's early. We're going to still see a couple games come out, and, of course, the conference schedule to follow. But you are in August now, so we are like about 3 months away from the season getting going. And, hey, man, I'm excited. These are the kind of matchups you want to see, of course. After a TBT game against Jayhawks Hoops, you're thinking, man, we want to get KU scheduled. Of course, you love playing the K-State Wildcats. If you could even get, more regional teams here in the area, the Midwest, I think that'd be great. But, hey, testing yourself out against a squad that routinely gets, top 25 to 50 players at a high school is, a go-to portal destination because of the weather, because of the history there at USC. Guys just want to live in that area and potentially go on to the NBA. The Shockers are going to test themselves out against a great team, maybe the best non-con team they've faced in quite some time.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, right? They have name value, which always helps too, right? And there's 5 games on the Go Shockers schedule listed so far, plus this USC game. The first one's a bye game against Cal State Northridge, but the other 5 that we know about so far, and there might be some others floating around out there, and there's going to be a couple more bye games against teams that nobody's heard of. But the other 5 is 2 Mountain West, a Big 12, a Big 10, and a Valley school. That's good, right? You're not testing yourself against the A-Sun. Valley and Mountain West are similar conferences to the American. Big 10 and Big 12 are a step up, and you want to be at your level or above as much as possible during the non-conference. So it's shaping up to be a nice non-conference schedule so far.
It is still so weird to me to see that the USC basketball team is in the Big Ten. I mean, they went over to the cream of the crops. They're the Pac-10, the Pac-12, and now it just doesn't feel right with all the travel that they have to do. But it's kind of irrelevant to the Shockers matchup here. But USC is, I would say, in a slight lull in men's basketball. They have not made the NCAA tournament now 3 seasons in a row, despite having some premier talent, especially at the guard position. And they've had an Isaiah Collier. He's now on the Jazz. They had Bronny James in recent years. I know with the women's team, Juju Watkins is supposed to return from injury, we think, and she's a big star in the NCAA on the women's side. USC always has some great talent there. But as far as team production, they are going to be, 2 seasons through here with Eric Musselman as the head coach. Andy Enfield was there for quite some time.
I think Musselman's an upgrade from Enfield, so I think USC's on the rise, right? And they're way too early, number 12 in the country, and I think they'll have a good season. So it's a fun test to start things off. I will say I misspoke. Hard to keep track of this stuff, but Boise State is one of those games. They're a member of the new Pac-12 now. Who knew?
Basically, every state in the western side, like the state schools in the western side of the country are in the Pac-12.
Gonzaga's in that now, too.
Yeah. All right. All-time history between USC and the Shockers. The most recent matchup in 2016, a 3-point loss. You're 1-3 all-time against the Trojans. The Shockers looking to get back in the win column here this fall. So let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. You're inside the press box. How are you?
Hey, what's up, boys? Dev.
What's up, Devin?
Devin.
Hey, I got a question, man. I've been hearing you guys talk about this 5th-year option. Is that this year?
Well, it's permanent, but the debate that's going on, the problem that's going on is with guys who used up their 4th year last year. They weren't going to include them, and they're trying to get a 5th year just like everybody else moving forward is going to get in future years. So
Kenyon Giles has a 4th year, Karan Boyd.
Karan Boyd and Kenyon Giles would be in that category of players. It's basically any player who played 4 years straight without ever taking a red shirt or an injury red shirt. They're lobbying to get a 5th year, just like all of the other players in college are going to get moving forward.
Devin, the issue is when they came out with the release of, hey, the 5x5 is the new format moving forward, they kind of didn't really include all the seniors who were about to graduate. And then by the time we finally had some judge in Colorado rule that, hey, we're going to grant access to these players, the NCAA then comes along and says, hey, nope, we're going to try to shut that down. And I just think the timeline is all too late. Like, even if this somehow does rule in favor of the players, we're so close to the start of the season that I think the Wichita State men's basketball team's roster is likely set as is. So...
Well, I was more or less talking about like the football, especially some of these teams had to cut down their roster, right, to the new size. Wasn't that something that they were?
Yeah, you talking football or basketball?
Yeah, football. They had to cut down their size because they didn't know if this ruling was going to come through or whatever. And they cut down the size. Well, now you add in all these. I don't know, man. It's just
so.
Can we just get some rules in place?
They've kind of changed things in a lot of these sports. So the old college football rule was like 85 scholarship players, and then you could have as many walk-ons as you wanted. So they'd have these bloated rosters. I believe the new roster cap is 105 players, which is still a ton. It's plenty for a football team, so don't worry about it.
Right.
And then basketball was 13 scholarship players plus a few walk-ons. They just got rid of walk-ons altogether. They said you can have 15 scholarships, but you also can only have a total of 15 players on your roster, period. And so that's why, like, Thingvall became a scholarship player when that came down, and they're able to give out 15 scholarships now. I think they're trying to get away from the walk-on thing because you can – what's the point, right? You could fudge that anyways because you can just say, hey, this guy's a walk-on, but then over here on the side give him $1 million of NIL. So –
Right.
I think that's why they're getting rid of that.
Devin, we've got to go.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Have
a good
take care.
Grease as always.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Devin.
All right, we got a comment here on Facebook, and Carl, it's a question that we understand why you're asking here. Where is Phil this week? I'm not exactly sure if the morning show made this entirely clear, but there has been some changes here with the KGSO lineup. The new show is now Two Pros and a Cup of Joe from 9 to 11. The In the Zone show is done with Phil Stevenson. We wish Phil Stevenson the best. He is a legend here in the Wichita area. Certainly a decision that's had nothing to do with you and I, but sad to see it go. The changes, they sometimes happen here in this landscape, in the broadcast side. Carl, we hope to continue to get your support here on KGSO and everyone who listened to In the Zone from 9 to 11. So tough. We'll have Micaela Day on from Cake Sports next up. Devin, we'll have to get your comment here at a certain point. You're asking for an all-time starting five from the Shockers.
Yeah, one day, I can do that pretty quick, I think. But also, you're not my producer, so we'll see if we get to it or not. Nah, yeah.
We got to take a break. 27 minutes
later
of radio.
on.
All right, Mickey D, Cake Sports. She's going to have it all next up. Stay tuned.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
We have to put a 30-year ban on kids playing football, basketball, and baseball, and then say we're putting 100% of our attention to soccer.
That's unfair to the kids, man. I mean,
You do that, though?
Yes.
And you'll see how many Mbappes and Hollands we have.
so what you're doing is forcing the next Randy Moss to play soccer.
Stu Gatz and Company live.
Stu Gatz and Company, weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Friday nights in Wichita mean one thing. Our kids, our teams, our lights on that field. Renewal by Anderson is proud to help light up Friday night lights across the Wichita area because we believe in the same things this community does. Craftsmanship, pride, and showing up for what matters. So this season, cheer loud, and when you're ready to bring that same hometown quality home to your windows and doors, call Renewal by Anderson of Wichita. Renewal by Anderson, proud supporter of Wichita area Friday night lights.
When a person calls 988, they're connected to a crisis counselor.
Crisis is completely self-defined. If you're wondering if you should call, you should probably call.
A caller can expect to talk about coping skills, talk about resources, and ways to move forward beyond the call.
They can call us, they can chat, they can text, and when they come out on the other side, they're feeling better.
Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.
Sponsored by Headquarters Kansas and aired in cooperation with this station.
Warmer weather is finally here, and that means cookouts,
ball games,
and maybe enjoying some time on the water.
But it also means lots of heavy food, sweets, and maybe an extra adult beverage or two. Thank goodness we both take Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All the things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted natural ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Active Liver helps us enjoy the good things in life with peace of mind that our liver isn't working overtime. Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, and you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Unlock the savings at Boost Mobile and save up to $600 a year. I've been scouting these big carriers for a minute now, and I've seen them pull the same play 1,000 times. They promise you the world, then hit you with a price hike right when the game gets tight. But Boost Mobile, their $25 a month unlimited wireless plan is the most consistent player on the floor. No contracts, no price hikes. Unlock the savings today at boostmobile.com/unlock. Based on average annual single line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months of the Boost Mobile unlimited wireless plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
Wichita's sports leader, KGSO, is brought to you by Devon James. Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
Wichita's home for college football is KGSO.
Gonna make you wonder why you even try. Hard times. Gonna take you down and left for you to cry. And I still don't know how I even survive. Hard times. Hard times. And now to get to rock bottom. Walking around.
Oh, I'm tired of the hard times. Enough with the nonsense. We need a spirit boost here in the Renewal by Anderson studios as we go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. She is Miss Micaela Day from Cake Sports. Micaela, what's poppin'?
I'd like to think for 2 years now I've been that reliable boost for you guys. on these Tuesday afternoons. So
They get a
hopefully you
little
can say
gloomy.
it's the same.
I always need an
Absolutely.
energy boost early afternoon or late afternoon Tuesday, so this works
You
out.
used to drink a little bit of coffee around this time, didn't you?
Every once in a while. I haven't lately.
You've cut
I have
back.
I have my coffee right next to me. I'm ready to go.
Look, you're the TV business, Micaela. I don't know what your hours of sleep even look like, so I'll give you.
You don't want to know.
I'll give you the pass. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know if I want to know. All right, we did talk a little bit about the Shocker men's basketball matchup with the USC Trojans here this fall. I was kind of highlighting, look, USC, they are a big brand in collegiate sports. Of course, they've had some legendary football teams. Basketball-wise, they haven't had too much team success overall, but they're projected to be potentially a top 15 team heading into the season, and they kind of always bring in high talented guards. But all in all, like, this is kind of what you ask for as a Wichita State fan. I know last year you had some fun. You went to like the battle for Atlantis. You got to face off against some notable teams around the Division I landscape. But hey, here against USC, this is probably one of the best opponents that the Shockers have played in the non-con in quite a while. What's your reaction?
Yeah, agreed. Especially their preseason projections are up there, being a top 25 team. This is exactly what Mills has been searching for because, as we know, he's searched around the region, around the Midwest. You know, we can't schedule like someone like KU. You know, that could be debated later on, as we know, with Bill Self and his thoughts on that. But at least they still play K-State, but that's not that top 25 team or a quad one team that we really are necessarily looking for in the non-con for Paul Mills and Wichita State. So for them to go out west, you know, I know they're going to Lake Tahoe, so they're not going to L.A. They're playing in this tournament. It's pretty exciting for them. You know, if they win, that'll be a huge boost for them in the non-con. If they lose, it's still, you know, arguably a game that they're playing a top opponent, and it wouldn't be that much of that bad of a loss for them. So, yeah, it's just exciting. I feel like, again, Mills is just steadily improving his team each year in the off season and scheduling these non-conference games that actually mean something. And then also just, as we know, retaining 10 players in this transfer portal era. So he's doing all the right things on paper, and that's why he was rewarded, you know, with that contract extension as well. So if you feel like you'd be very happy with what Mills is doing so far.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. And what I loved the most when I saw this come out, that they're playing USC out in Lake Tahoe, is that it's very early in the season. November 8th, I believe, is what was reported. And with 10 players coming back and USC having a ton of roster turnover, I think that's a check mark in favor of the Shockers for a chance to get a quad one win early. Speaking of which, we know some of the other games on the schedule with K-State from the Big 12 playing in Kansas City. We've got Pac-12 team in Boise State. It's hard to say that. I was thinking Mountain West. New Mexico out of the Mountain West, Drake out of the Valley. I think Paul Mills is putting together a pretty good schedule so far. Do you agree that this will be the right kind of test for a Shocker team that wants to put together an at-large resume?
Yeah, I think for this at-large resume, again, on paper, it checks all the boxes. It's really neat to see how this team will come together with all these pieces. As we know, the backcourt kind of just needed to be reassembled as we got Chattanooga transfer Jordan Freisen in there. You know, we got Hurd coming in. We got all these pieces coming in that are exciting. We still have, you know, Will Berg and TJ Williams that more so of a front court piece that are, you know, also great as well. But how are they all going to work together? And again, I know every team deals with this in the college basketball era right now, but for them to have 10 players coming back, you know, Michael Gray Jr. is a guy, too, that I always talked very highly of him. I remember on these Tuesdays in the season last year, when watching him in person, he was just that type of guy that we know he was a starter, but didn't necessarily get sometimes the spotlight, as we know, because they had an explosive guy like Kenyon Giles, who shattered the single-season three-point record. And so I'm excited also to see Michael Gray Jr. pop off maybe this year and see where he kind of fits in to this dynamic as well. But yeah, no, this at-large resume definitely should be a fun one to see how it all comes together.
We'll keep it with WSU here. in men's basketball is in recent days, head coach Paul Mills signed the contract extension to take him through the 2031 season. Micaela, Paul Mills, look, he's had a pretty decent start, and you kind of compare his first 3 years to Shocker history. He has had the second best record in that 3-year tenure. Look, I think a lot of the Shocker public, maybe I shouldn't say a lot. I think more and more people are kind of respecting this era and waking up to this present day, but a lot of people kind of are judging Paul Mills against Greg Marshall. And I've kind of thrown out and said, hey, that's a little unfair. I'm not saying that you can't get back, to being a consistent mainstay in the NCAA tournament and things like that. But I think the comparison has been a little unfair. But Paul Mills, in his own right, in his own lane, I think is doing a great job. Talk a little bit about his contract extension with WSU.
Yeah, I think that's only natural for fans, too, because, you have to go back to the most successful coach. And obviously we had Isaac Brown right before that, but he was only there just for a little bit. I think that's natural for a fan to want to compare, but what I'd say is this is again, you are steadily improving under this coach. Your win total is improving each season. Yes, you're going to the NIT for the second straight season. That's not ideal. I know we want to get back to the NCAA tournament, but what else could you ask for? And I'd say, in this day and age, at least maybe steady improvement, dare I say, is better than, boom, you have a Jerome Tang. Yes, that was a fun year, 2022, 2023. You make it to the Elite Eight. But look what happened after that, a fallout after that. Wouldn't you rather have a coach that comes in and proves himself along the way versus flashy and then you got this and it's inconsistent? And I don't know. I know, that is just a crazy opinion that can be thrown out there when I'm comparing two coaches, and I know they're both they're friends, as we know, back in their Baylor days. But I don't know. I just think when it comes to someone that wants to totally revamp a program, I remember Mills sharing that with us a couple years ago, that he said it's going to take time, and especially in this era, people want results fast and they want it instantly. But I think the Shocker fan base is slowly buying in, which at least that's what I've seen.
Yeah, and with the fan base, it's steady progress, right? Same as what they're seeing on the floor, and maybe there'll be a boom this season, right? Maybe it's an inflection point. I could talk Shocker basketball all day. I want to go up and down the roster and ask you about players, but it's still a little ways till the season, so I'll go to something else I love. The Chiefs camp's going on. Cyrus Allen was starting to flash a little bit. Xavier Worthy was looking good, coming back from having shoulder issues last year, and then boom. Cyrus Allen's got a bruised shin. It could have been worse, so I guess that's a good thing. He's day-to-day. Xavier Worthy sprained his shoulder. Is this going to be like a nagging thing throughout the season, especially for Xavier Worthy? Or do you feel like the Chiefs receivers can get healthy at some point this season and give Mahomes a chance to have some targets for once?
I'm laughing because I'm already exhausted talking about the receiver room and it having problems already. I mean, can we just catch a break here? For the last couple of seasons, it's laughable at this point. It looks like Cyrus Allen, he is day-to-day. He should be fine. That's what we've seen at least. Xavier Worthy, only missing a few days. Okay, good. Rashee Rice on that steady ramp up. Tyquan Thornton, too. Again, talking about guys that maybe aren't covered as much. He did impress last season, the last couple seasons. He was the guy that was reliable for those deep passes, the deep threat for Mahomes in some instances, I know. But, this receiver room, can they just work it out here at camp? And then after that, I don't really want to talk about them. Does that make sense? Talk about, being steady and reliable. I want them to be like Paul Mills. Can we just, make cruise along and prove themselves and not have to have all these storylines around them? Just sick of it,
Yeah. I've said this a couple of times, but I want to see if you agree. One thing I like about the Chiefs receiver room this year is they've given themselves a chance for some upside with these younger players like Thornton and Allen getting the opportunities instead of having retreads in there that are steady, but what they are, and they're not going to give you anything more than that. I feel like it's a potential youth movement in the receiver room, which could prove to be a good thing for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's a good point. And, as we say at this point, too, in the season, it's a rebuild year, whatever we want to say when it comes to the Chiefs coming off that horrible season. But at the same time, the receiver room, it's just always been a talking point ever since Tyreek Hill left, as we all know. And those rumors were kind of fun to talk about to see if Hill would come back to the Chiefs this season. As we know, that's not the case as of yet. But, it's something that I just hope can be solidified as the season progresses.
Micaela, I'll keep it with the Chiefs here because, look, Sasha loves the Chiefs. I don't mind talking about them a little bit. Denver, week 1. I think Mahomes and his quick turnaround from the ACL now changes the optics of this game. I don't know if the betting lines have shifted at all. I want to say that Denver is maybe a slight favorite over Kansas City.
When it first was scheduled, KC was favored when it first came out. I don't know if that's changed.
They may stay that way. I think if Mahomes is looking good. But, Micaela, I think there was a lot of, skepticism. There was even, the Justin Fields talk until the bye. I think we can put that behind us. If you kind of had to give a record prediction for the Chiefs right now, I know it's early. But let's focus on these first 4 games. You got home versus Denver, home versus Indianapolis. You got the Horsies coming to town. And then, hey, you got a trip to Miami, a trip to the Raiders with Las Vegas. What's the Mahomes-Chiefs record looking like through 4 contests into the bye?
I am not that optimistic. Shocker, I know. 10-7, maybe 11-6, which I know is even better than last season. But, I don't think they're going to win this week 1. I just don't have a good feeling about it because the Broncos, seeing the seasons they came off of last year, I remember covering the season opener for, the 2024 season. It was Chiefs-Lions, or was that 23? When the Lions came in to their home field and upset them. I know that's not a divisional matchup, but what I'm trying to say is, when the Chiefs have all this going for them, and I know the Mahomes piece is a factor, and a lot of people want to see this change, and they want Mahomes out there. We don't really know until it's there. Will it be Justin Fields? Will it be Mahomes? I think that's obviously the huge factor. But at the same time, the Broncos have a lot of things going for them, just like the Lions did that year. And I just don't see the Chiefs defending their home field and winning week 1 over the Broncos. I just don't see it at this point. And I think that's why Vegas agrees a little bit. I know people want to argue home field advantage. Yeah. I know people want to argue home field advantage and all that. But this is a broken team, guys, that they're really trying to solidify here. We have, also the secondary that's all coming together. And I know we got some vets in there coming in, in a bunch of different players. But no, it's just kind of more of a broken team that they need to really show some flashes here at camp or really instill some confidence in the preseason for people to maybe say that they can do better than, have more than 10 wins. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll just make a comment about the division as a whole. I know the Broncos won 14 games last year. The Chiefs, for a third-place schedule, still have a pretty tough schedule. It's because the division plays the NFC West. But one thing I would look at is everybody in this division, from the Broncos to the bottom at the Raiders, has a tough schedule. So I do think if the Chiefs can get to that 11 win mark that you talked about, I think 11 or 12 wins this division this year. I don't think anybody's running out to 14 wins in this division this year. Now, I think there's 3 really good teams, but they'll all be in that 10 to 12 range.
I agree with that too, and you have to look at that strength of schedule. And is this the year the AFC West is going to be, respected a little bit more too? I mean, I know that was a couple years ago. Maybe this is the year people are looking at the AFC West and going, hey, Chargers are up there, Broncos, Raiders, that they're just kind of irrelevant.
Oh, the Raiders. I saw a little video of the Raiders fans, and they're open up their season ticket box. It's like a briefcase, and it's got, a bunch of chips inside to play poker with. It's got some cards. It's got the schedule. That's about the most exciting thing they have to look forward to this season.
It's got a bunch of stuff that's worth more than the tickets it comes with.
As for Chiefs, Mahomes threw the ball into his teammate, so that was fun.
Oh, yeah, that one. We haven't talked about that much. Maybe we should.
There you go. Talk about that, guys.
Micaela Day TV on X, a.k.a. Twitter. That's Day, D-E-A. Micaela, Mickey D, you are the best. We'll see ya.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Micaela.
Later. We'll be back.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Nobody wins Friday night alone. It takes a team. Every player, every position, working together toward one goal. Renewal by Andersen believes in that same teamwork. Our design team, our craftsmen, and our installers, all working together to get your windows and doors right. Because a great result isn't one person's job, it's a whole team's. Renewal by Andersen, proud supporter of Wichita area Friday Night Lights, where teamwork wins.
Who's your favorite team? It's okay. We just know you love KGSO.
Huge shout out to Micaela Day. Shows on Tuesdays would not be the same without her. Catching up here on the Facebook comment section. Drop your words, questions, concerns at any point during the show. Watch back shows if you missed them here. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka here, taking you home, taking you out, whatever you're doing here on this Tuesday. All right, Devin, you were asking all-time Shocker starting five. Sasha's got his queued up.
Yeah, I put it down in the chat. I'll start with this. Fred is I did a since 2000 list, mainly because I'm not going to go back. Like, you got Antoine Carr, Cliff Livingston, all those guys, but I didn't watch them play. So I did a since 2000 list. I could have gone back to the 1990, but nobody from the 90s would have made it anyways. So point guard's Fred, shooting guard Landry Shamet. He played some point in some shooting guard, so I think that's fair. And then the four is Clay Anthony Early, and the 5 is probably Paul Miller. He won Valley Conference Player of the Year on a Turgeon team. I went with PJ Cousinard as small forward. He's like a true small forward. In all reality, if you're putting a team on the floor, you probably go with 3 guards, and Ron Baker is that third guard for the team. So it's kind of those 6 guys are my top 6 here.
Ooh, I could maybe put together an all 2020s team, but I don't know if the people would like it as much.
I didn't really consider anyone from those most recent years. I guess I could have.
A 6th man from the 2020s?
I mean, we could let Kenyon Giles come in and do the microwave, I guess. I didn't even really think about that too much. He is the leading scorer in the 2000s of all Shocker players for a single season, besides maybe Jason Perez in the year 2000.
Yeah. If you're factoring in post-college, I think you put Reeves in there, maybe at small forward.
But
your list
he
applies.
left. He's an Okie, but yes. I was doing mostly on college production only.
Trader, as some would say. All right, let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Command phone lines. You're inside the press box. What is up?
Let me give you a list.
All right.
And you might have to do a top 10 list. However you want to decipher it. But you got to start with Cleo Littleton.
Yeah.
That's a start. Got to have Antoine Carr on that list. Or Xavier McDaniel.
Probably both.
Yeah, I would say Fred VanVleet as my point guard. And if they would have had the 3-point shot during his era, you have to put Arbery Sherrod on that list.
Okay.
Where's Ron
Yeah,
Baker?
see,
let's go back a little farther. The man that's always smiling, and he's still known in this city, Lambert Cheese Johnson.
Cheese.
He's got to be on that list.
Cheese. You haven't
So
said.
you see, I'm kind of covering all the decades.
Yeah. You haven't said Dave Stallworth yet.
Of course. Oh, I was getting to him, but since you jumped the gun, Dave Stallworth. And now let's jump back up into the era that you guys are familiar with. Yes, you probably would have to throw a Clee Anthony early on that list. My guys that would probably come off the bench, the guy that almost had Mike Kennedy, the legend, speechless in the game against Illinois State. Tekel High-Rising Cotton.
I'd want him on a team if you're playing actual basketball. Yeah.
So I'm giving you a list, and that kind of covers pretty much all the decades. That way you don't leave anyone out. That someone's going to be left out. Somebody listen, they're going to come up with the list. So the list never ends. So I just wanted to give you something to kind of cover all decades there. And thanks for taking my call.
Hey, thanks for the call, Anthony. Listen, my list was basically the Turgeon and the Marshall era, right? That's where I pulled the players from. The one thing that Marshall never had was like a really good center. They just didn't play that way. They played with great guards, and they had centers who played defense and rebounded. Shaquille Morse is probably the closest thing to like an elite top of the conference center that he ever had.
If there was one Shocker game, anywhere from 10 to 15 years ago, you think I should watch one single game, what would it be?
So the first two that popped into my head were both losses. So I guess we won't go that way. And that was the second-round Kentucky game in the undefeated season and the Louisville Final Four game. If we're looking for a win, just watch Gonzaga, Wichita State in the round of 32 in 2013. I think it is on YouTube. Gonzaga, Wichita State, round of 32 to get to the Sweet 16. Gonzaga was the number one team in the country. Shockers were a 9 seed. That kind of started their run.
All right, got a little bit of homework to do. Folks, second hour, we'll hit on some national things. Maybe look at the Hall of Fame Monitor series that we started yesterday. We'll talk about the running backs this time. Could just kind of update you on who's on a track to a Hall of Fame path. We can kind of recover some past greats as well. We're kind of doing that now here with Shocker men's basketball. Some more local things that we can catch up on. I know our guy Shreyas Ladas from the Kansas City Star. I saw he had a bit of a list, breaking down the top 5 Kansas Jayhawk football games this coming season. We hit on some injury news here, first hour of the show as well with Cyrus Allen and Xavier Worthy. Probably not too serious, although for Xavier, re-injuring the same shoulder he's had surgery on, that is a bit of a concern. Of course, the Shockers and the Trojans from USC matching up this fall at Lake Tahoe in the non-con. It should be a blast at Micaela Dayon. We should maybe talk about Tarek Scoopball getting the start tonight for the Dodgers. Bijan signed a deal. We do have some news as well that'll say on the other side. We're going to interview someone tomorrow and then play it on the show.
I got to start practicing my pronunciations. I got to start practicing now.
That might give you a hint. Should be good. It's from a player of one of Sasha's favorite teams. We'll tell you more next up here on KGSO, your longest running sports talk station here in the ICT. Don't you forget.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the KSHSAA, are the 103,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Kansas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
11-year-old Mehdi lives in Ethiopia in extreme poverty. Like every child, Mehdi is a world of possibilities. But the world tells her otherwise. It tells her she has no value. It tells her she has no voice. It tells her she has no future. It doesn't have to be this way. Child Fund works in 25 countries to ensure that millions of children like Mehdi grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe. Our programs help children fulfill their potential, no matter where they were born. Through Child Fund, children like Mehdi know their value, raise their voices, build a future. The right thing to do for Mehdi? Help change the world around her. Help her realize all her possibilities. Child Fund International. Learn more at childfund.org.
Damage from wildfires is devastating and traumatic. After wildfires, dishonest contractors show up hoping to make a quick buck from your insurance claim. They'll promise anything if they can get you to sign a contract, collect your payment in advance, and ultimately do no work at all. Avoid being the victim of contractor fraud. Get estimates from at least 3 contractors. Check references, and remember, if you didn't request it, reject it.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance
This is Wichita's sports station, K230BY, 93.9 FM, 1410 AM, and 99.7 HD3. KGSO, Belle Plaine, Wichita. Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is the Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Alrighty, first hour of the show into the books. Welcome to 5 o'clock here in the Renewal by Anderson studios, guys. Installation done right on schedule here on 1410 93.9 KGSO. Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka, having an absolute blast here in the afternoon. Of course, we're 4 to 6 Monday through Friday here on this station. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Even got an Instagram floating around there somewhere. Follow us. Check us out. I'm always posting stuff. I was posting a little video after the NBC World Series over the weekend. You never know what you might see on the feed. Tim, reliving the memories here. Have to check out Louisville in that game with how bad the Shocks got screwed.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't ideal, right? Ron Baker gets called for a tie-up after a free throw rebound that was phantom, right? And it gives Louisville some more free throws, which was kind of the end of the game right there. That was and Luke Hancock hits like 23s out of nowhere after that's the game after the Ware leg breaking incident, and so Hancock hadn't really played much. He was kind of the replacement for Ware. That game in the Kentucky second round game. You also, like, if you wanted to see a game in the Roundhouse, like any game against Creighton when Doug McDermott was there was a lot of fun, especially inside Coke Arena. But you're kind of limited to what you can find on YouTube.
Did Hancock play in the NBA?
No, I don't think so. He was like a big time role player for Louisville. That's what was annoying about it. Is he came off the bench and he just started draining threes out of nowhere. Wichita State had a decent sized lead in the first half, and Louisville just kind of kept cutting into it as the game progressed. They ended up winning by 4, I think.
When you talk about like some random guy off the bench who goes crazy, I almost think of like recent players who fit that description in March Madness, like a Doug Edert from St. Peter's. Right, just heartbreaking shots late against your heavily favored teams. Devin, you were even throwing out some wild names here with all-time starting fives for Shocker men's basketball history. Devin, Kim K did never play.
I will give a shout-out to Bishop King Moore's shout there. Maurice Evans had a 10-year NBA career, finished his career at Texas, but in the years he was at Wichita State, he scored a bucket load of points. He overlapped with Jason Perez a little bit, and that's a good shout. He was right around the turn of the century. He would definitely be in the mix for a team like this.
We'll talk a little bit more pro sports here throughout the 5 o'clock hour. I did want to put this out there in the works. We are set to interview a Kansas City Chiefs player tomorrow, and we're going to play it on the show. I think we'll get it in the first hour, but kind of just stay tuned. I'll put something out on social media, kind of reminding folks of the time, kind of just finalizing it when we'll play it. There's always the chance, look, with these NFL organizations, things change in practice, schedules kind of get tweaked around a little bit, but we're looking to have on Kingsley Suamataia from the Kansas City Chiefs on tomorrow's show, so stay tuned for that. Should be an absolute blast. Kingsley and I actually go back to the youth a little bit, but here on the big stage, I'm looking to talk to a guy who's going to be protecting the major asset that is Patrick Mahomes this upcoming season. So we're looking forward to that. But here in this NFL segment, a new one that we're starting on the press box that we kicked off yesterday. Guys, I know how much this audience soaks up past greats, especially when it comes to tossing the pigskin. NFL Football Hall of Fame monitor. As yesterday we talked about, hey, guys who are going to be coming up on the ballot here pretty soon. Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, Mahomes, Ryan, kind of pairing them up against the best, right? Dan Marino, Elway, Breeze, Montana, Tom Brady, who, of course, will get in as well. So we're doing the running backs today, probably receivers tomorrow, and we'll work through this over the next week and some change. Did want to kind of remind the folks, we're looking at the Hall of Fame monitor on ProFootballReference.com. Does a nice job of laying out scores for players' career. Example, Walter Payton on the site is the best running back of all time, numbers-wise. A score of 214. What does that mean? Well, he's essentially had 2 Hall of Fame careers. Your average Hall of Fame running back score is 106. You got an Adrian Peterson. He's above the cut. He should get in. Frank Gore, that's a controversial one we can spend some time talking about today. He's a few points shy. You got LaShawn McCoy. You got a Marshawn Lynch, a Derrick Henry who wants to get their names called, of course. You got legends here.
I mean, the average is 106, but everyone with a score above 69 besides LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore is in, right? So basically, like if you're over 65, you've got a pretty good chance to get in. Marshawn Lynch is at 69.14. He's not in yet. That's an interesting one to talk about for sure. As far as active players, I don't know the closest or the two guys that are active right now that would be conversation pieces is probably Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. Maybe Saquon Barkley would be worth a conversation. And then you've got mostly your top tier running backs are younger guys that have work left to do, and time will tell how long their careers last.
You got some legends here from the 2000s. You got a work done, a Priest Holmes. You guys know that name. Fred Taylor, a Tiki Barber, Sean Alexander. He was on the Madden cover before he fell off.
Priest Holmes' 3-year stretch, and I'm not even looking at it right now, but I've looked at it before.
Know.
His 3-year stretch with the Chiefs is one of the best 3-year stretches for a running back ever. I think it was 3 straight first-team All-Pros. But the problem is that was basically his whole career. He was a backup in Baltimore before he came to the Chiefs. He had a great 3 years and then kind of fell out. Like, he just didn't do it enough years in a row probably to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, those guys I mentioned are just shy of the Hall of Fame. And if we mention a name that was one of your favorite players back in the day or a guy who's still active, call 522-1410. All right.
I'm surprised how high Darren Sproles' score is.
Right, they were making fun of him, his weight, his height at the combine, 63.
Yeah, out of Olathe North, Darren Sproles.
They got to be factoring in his return game a little bit as well to the list.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's start here with a layup. Adrian Peterson is going to get in, and I think the question here is Adrian Peterson going to be a first ballot? Now, I almost think the NFL Hall of Fame is slightly too exclusive. Like, if we're really only going to get 5 players in each season, and in this case, like this year, 3 of them are past, or 2 of them are past players, it's a 12 starter sport. That's quite slim. So Adrian Peterson feels like a first ballot guy. He might not be, though. And so just kind of wanted to put that out there. But Peterson has one of the most memorable seasons a running back's ever had, coming back from an ACL injury and then winning an MVP in 2012 as a non-quarterback. Nowadays, it seems like an impossible task. When you carry Christian Ponder like that, you're doing something great.
Yeah, and when it comes to getting in on the first ballot, you've kind of got to look at like who you're up against. You're going to have some carryovers that didn't get in the year before, but who are the other first-time eligible guys? Because they're not going to do all 5 first-timers, right? They're going to get in some guys that missed it the year before. Peterson's biggest 2 threats are Ben Roethlisberger and Rob Gronkowski. And Rob Gronkowski's, a lot of people think he's the best tight end ever. He's definitely top 3 tight end ever. So I think he's going to go in first ballot. And Ben Roethlisberger is a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback that had a lot of regular season success too. I think it would be weird if Roethlisberger doesn't go in on the first ballot, and that's what might make it tough for Adrian Peterson to get in the first time. Also, Richard Sherman will be a first-time eligible player next year as well. So I don't know. I think Adrian Peterson, right, he should waltz into the Hall of Fame, but I don't know that it happens on the first try for him, and I'm sure he will not be happy if it doesn't.
Don't mention it to him in a casino. 4-time at first-team All-Pro. The guy is a legend. From the moment he came into the league, 2007, Rookie of the Year, he certainly deserved it. Look, this guy can absolutely fly. He can catch it in the backfield just a little bit if you need him to. He can lay down a block. He can lay down an absolute hit stick and scream to the heavens thereafter. Look, Adrian Peterson did something pretty incredible. His 2014 season, he actually played only 1 game. If you remove that, he had a crazy stretch where he goes 8 seasons in a row, basically 8 of 9 to be factual, where he was above 80 yards per game every season. And even his 2012 season, 131 yards per, 110 per in 2008. He is certainly going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Peterson, and Gore was up for the first time this year, and he didn't get in yet. But Frank Gore is he's a longevity guy, which is rare at the running back position, and that's the thing that's unique about both those guys, Peterson and Frank Gore, is they had pretty long careers.
All these guys pretty much need a decent level of longevity to get to the Hall of Fame.
But
if you don't have
usually
Super
for a
Bowls.
running back, like if you look at this list, if you're looking at it closely, a lot of these guys played about 10 seasons. Frank Gore and Peterson were closer to 15.
Frank Gore, 16 seasons, 16,000 yards exactly, right on the dot when he ended his career in the regular season. He, to me, is a very controversial one, and I think my opinion has changed from maybe what it was to now what it is, kind of looking at the numbers here. But let's take this call here on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. We're talking some NFL running backs. How are you doing?
Messing up the flow. That's what I do, brother. Just calling in to mess up the flow. I am going to keep it Hall of Fame first ballot inductees or potential inductees on the first ballot. You know, the one thing we're not going to be doing this year, and we may never have the kind of controversy that we had last year and subsequently talked about for quite a while. Bill Belichick not getting voted into the Hall of Fame. I heard you say, Sash, that. Yeah, I heard you say, Sash, that Peterson might get mad. If Belichick doesn't get in on the first ballot, there is nobody qualified to be complaining about getting in. If you're going to leave Belichick out, the sky's the limit on who else can get left out. So, yeah, I'll never forget. I was at the Y, and I had to call Doug on the show that very next day when the news was announced, and he had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, dude, you have not heard that Belichick got left off? And he's like, what? And I said, yeah.
Come on, Doug.
Yeah, it was just craziness. So we talked about that for about a half an hour. So, but yeah, we'll see what kind of surprises happen when we find out who's not making it in this year.
Yeah, and you wonder about off-field stuff too. Famously, Terrell Owens didn't get in first ballot and kind of threw a fit about it. So I could see it being a similar situation for Peterson.
Yeah, I think I threw out jokingly that I think all the old fogies that were voting, whoever was getting in or wasn't getting in, they were jealous because of Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend. That had to be the reason. That's the only thing I could think of. Guys, have a great Tuesday.
Hey, thanks, James.
We'll see ya. I don't know if I'm jealous of that decision-making, but maybe some are. Bill Belichick, though, he applies to the conversation, and I think he'll get his name called next year. I think so. All right. Continuing here, the running backs. Frank Gore is interesting.
Yeah, he is.
I forgot that Frank Gore had basically a 1,700-yard season back his second year in the league in 2006. He's part of a deep class coming out of Miami. I mean, they had an absolute stacked running back room in the early 2000s. Many made the league, and Gore, probably the most successful of the ones that did so. Look, he had 4 straight seasons with 1,000 yards, got hurt, missed a couple games, and then followed it up with 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons again. And then, had 2 seasons in Indianapolis where he was in his early to mid-30s, where he was, a couple first downs shy of 2 1,000-yard seasons again. And he did have one there with 1,025 in the middle of it.
9,000-yard seasons, man.
The dude is
a monster. And he played a long time, and he had some injuries early in his career, but then ended up sticking around a long time. 16,000 yards is a big number. I think looking at this, I knew Frank Gore played a long time, and I knew he was pretty good a long time. But looking a little deeper at his numbers, I think Frank Gore's going into the Hall of Fame eventually.
I think so as well. On to, here's a name that's quite interesting, and I think I'm leaning a certain way, although it might be unfair to him. I think you have to, in this day and age, lower the bar a little bit for present-day running backs because they don't run it as much as they used to, right? I mean, you used to dial up, run on first down, run on second down, and then, hey, maybe we'll flirt with the pass on third down. It's a different game. Teams are throwing the ball on first down all the time now, and so running back totals, it's a little bit spread out to the receiving game now compared to just the rushing stats. LaShawn McCoy is one of the shiftiest RBs of all time. If you want an RB for a snow game, look no further than Shady himself. An 82 score, we're telling you, hey, a 106 on ProFootballReference.com with a Hall of Fame monitor is the average running back score. LaShawn McCoy is the 3rd best score of players who are not in the Hall of Fame. I don't think LaShawn McCoy is a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, man. I know you had 17 touchdowns and 1,300 yards in 2011. I know you had a 1,600-yard season in 2013. You did some good stuff after it. You had a great career. I think you're in the Hall of Very Good. I just think I look at the class that's above you. You know, Terrell Davis, Edgerrin James, Marcus Allen, Gale Sayers. I mean, maybe Sayers not, but I think you look at these other names and I almost feel Shady is maybe a tier below. Maybe I'm disrespecting him. Maybe I'm not giving him his credit. What do you think?
I initially look at the name and I say not a Hall of Famer, right? But if you look at some of the accolades, not necessarily the numbers, and I think where Gore beats him out is Gore has 16,000 yards to 11,000. That's a tough difference to ignore. But if you just look at the first three columns, which is kind of accolades instead of numbers, McCoy, 2 championships, 2 first-team All-Pros, 6 Pro Bowls. Same categories, Frank Gore, 0, 0, 5. So McCoy's actually ahead in all those categories, but I think the 5,000 yards is tough to ignore. I don't think LaShawn McCoy is quite a Hall of Famer either. I'm with you there.
I think him going to Buffalo kind of messed things up. I think in Philly, if he keeps it going with Big Red, right, I think things look a little bit different for LaShawn. Did still have a 1,200-yard season and an 1,100-yard season at ages 28 and 29, but kind of get dinged up a little bit there. I think the injuries, where he missed a couple games in the middle of his prime, did hurt his total numbers, LaShawn McCoy. I want to talk about Marshawn Lynch as well. Marshawn Lynch, dude. Don't eat any Skittles around this guy. He'll steal them right from you. And he might just take it to the house. Marshawn Lynch, he's got the Super Bowl. He's 5-time Pro Bowler, back when they mattered. He has only one first-team All-Pro, but he was 2010's All-Decade team. He is a touchdown machine. I more remember him like early Buffalo Bills, then with the Seahawks. A lot of people will remember him, of course, out west with the Seahawks, and then his time that's forgetful in Oakland. Do you want to get to this call here on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines? How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, Big Mike?
It sounded like he almost said that Gale Sayers didn't. That's what it struck me to call. I mean, I enjoyed listening to this daggone thing.
Speak up for
to the
Sayers.
radio here, and hold on. Did you finish your thought on? Do you think Sayers should be in the Hall of Fame?
What do you got against Gale Sayers? The Kansas Comet?
This has been the hot phrase in the last 48 hours. I might just plead the fifth with Gale Sayers.
5-time first-team All-Pro. Jacob, Big Mike, I don't always listen the best. I didn't hear him say that.
He only played 7 seasons.
Yeah, and in 5 out of the 7, he was first-team All-Pro. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know, though.
I almost pulled off the road when he said, I don't think Gale. You got to be kidding me.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he's the Kansas Comet. Yeah.
That we can out if they are in.
Let me have it.
Sure enough.
Fire the shots.
All these guys that you were mentioning right now, I could care less. But if you say Gale Sayers, I would never listen to you another day of my life on the radio if you say Gale Sayers don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
All right, I'll retract the words.
Short career. All right,
just for you, Big Mike.
All right, you guys can get back to it, but I just had to get that in, man, because there's no way that you can say that and with a straight face and actually believe it. All right.
All right.
Well, hey,
thanks,
you
Big
guys
Mike.
have a great day, man. I enjoy listening to you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's why we're doing this series.
It's interesting
right here.
because people talk about the shortness of the career of Barry Sanders, but Barry Sanders played 10 years and managed to rack up 15,000 yards still. So it wasn't as short as people made it out to be. He just kind of left on top, and people thought he still had a lot of juice in the tank. Gale Sayers with a short career as well.
Catching up here on Facebook, Devin, you dropped a lot of names. Roger Craig, biggest snub. He's going to get in. Don't you worry. Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk. Maybe the CMC before CMC.
Yeah. Marshawn Lynch is interesting because he's got that huge personality that people like. Like, he was very popular as a player, but when you look at like the actual numbers of whether he should be in the Hall of Fame or not, his resume is relatively similar to LaShawn McCoy's and maybe even a little bit shortish LaShawn McCoy's. And we both just said we don't think LaShawn McCoy's getting in. So it's an interesting case.
Beast mode, on the other hand, is interesting. Look, beast mode, driving around the golf cart, whatever this guy's doing in his free time, he's a fun player. I'm on the fence with Marshawn Lynch because he had a great 4-year stretch for a contending team that went on deep playoff runs, by the way. 2011 through 2014, Marshawn Lynch essentially averaged 1,300 yards per game, and if you attracted it out to a 17-game season, there in that 4-year stretch, that's 1,445 per year. Marshawn Lynch, I think that's a great 4-year stretch. It's one of the best 4-year stretches of a running back since 2000. But I look around at the rest of his career, and it's a little light to me.
I think making the all-decade team helps his case, but sometimes that's just a function of your career didn't span, your prime didn't span over 2 decades. You had it all in 1 decade, so it was easier to make the all-decade team.
To me, Marshawn Lynch, his career resonates in certain moments. I don't know throughout like the mainstay of his career, like we were routinely talking about him as like a top 3 running back in the NFL. So that'd be my one gripe there with Marshawn Lynch. Certainly a key name right in the discussion. But let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. You're inside the press box. What's up?
Hey, Roger Craig is in the Hall of Fame, man. You guys do better.
I said that. Yeah, I was reading Devin's comment, and he said, Roger Craig, biggest snub. And I said, Devin, he's getting in. So Devin do better.
Well, you said getting in. Is he in, or he is in? Not getting in, is in. And so, yeah, I think that's what he was confused because you were saying he's going to get in is the way the caller took that.
Was it last year?
I don't know exactly when he got
preparing for his upcoming induction.
Oh,
to
he's
the Pro
just
Football Hall of Fame, class
so he's
of
just getting in
2026.
this year.
I knew I was right.
I gotcha. I didn't realize he was just getting in this year. So shame on the caller.
Everybody do better. Everybody do better. Feeling good. All right.
Yeah, I think that you know what? Don't tell us to do better because I think you're just assuming that Roger Craig was in a long time ago, and obviously he wasn't. He's just getting in this year, which is what Jacob was saying. So
don't trust a man with the internet in front of him, or maybe you should. All right. Derrick Henry, he's the last name we'll bring up. No brainer. He's going in. I know according to this rinky-dinky system with the points here, he's kind of far down. He's got a 67 score. We tell you the average score for a running back Hall of Famer on the Pro Football Reference Hall of Fame monitor is 106. 68, 67. Not the best there from Derrick Henry, but it's the yards, guys, and he's not done yet. Derrick Henry's a top 10 rusher of all time when you look at the yards and the touchdowns. He's fourth. He's fourth. You can't forget about this cat.
Derrick Henry's going in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about it. 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 13,000 yards. He just got to wait He's just got to retire and then wait 5 years, and he's going in. Maybe not first ballot.
If the Titans weren't some big dummies, he would have been starting all these games his first 2 seasons. But I think the 1,900-yard season, the 1,900-yard season was the one to send him in from 2024. I don't know how many guys have 2 1,900-yard seasons in their career. He might be the only one.
Yeah, and separated by a few years as well.
He's got 13K. He will get to at least 15K. Mark my words. Henry's going in the Hall. We'll talk to you on the other side.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Patrick Mahomes was not listed as the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. That honor belongs to Joshua Allen.
Last season for Mahomes was the bounce-back season, right? The bounce-back season wasn't that great compared to his standards.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Evenings on KGSO. And find KGSO on the SC Wichita app.
Transform your backyard into the perfect outdoor escape with Meadowlark Landscaping and Design. This is Doug Downs, General Manager of Steckline Communications, and let me recommend Meadowlark Landscape and Design. From beautiful custom patio installations to fully equipped outdoor kitchens and cozy fire pits, Meadowlark brings your vision to life. Whether you are entertaining guests or just relaxing at home, they'll create a space you'll love for years to come. Call Meadowlark Landscaping and Design today, 316-880-0227. Meadowlark Landscape and Design, where outdoor living begins.
Football is here, and we are all excited to celebrate at Quincy's Bar and Grill. Quincy's Bar and Grill is packed full of TVs, so you won't miss any of the action of your favorite team.
Whether it's college or the NFL,
you can catch it all at Quincy's Bar and Grill, the longest-running sports bar and grill in Wichita. While you're there, grab a cold one with friends or grab something to eat from the great Quincy's Bar and Grill menu. Thursday through Sunday, you can catch your favorite football team at Quincy's Bar and Grill, 2047 Northwest Street, and online at quincy'sofwichita.com.
KGSO Studio, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Expert installation done right. Right on schedule. Find them online at renewalbyanderson.com. John Stugatz, afternoons on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
So, but I guess you changed her mind. Well, I should have known it wouldn't be alright, but I can't live without her, so I won't even try. If I get drunk, well, I'll pass out on the floor now, baby. You won't bother me no more.
Oh, this song is called Beer. Sometimes it seems like you callers have already had a few by 5 o'clock. Maybe breaking the unofficial rule. Devin here on Facebook.
There was a lot going on out
there. I don't even know
they
what
were talking
that
about the
emoji
human
is.
joystick. Dante Hall versus Devin Hester as punt returners. And Jim says Prime was the best punt returner ever.
No, it's Devin Hester. They were just kicking the
he
ball
says
out of
from his
bounds to
eyes.
him. The Super Bowl return with all the old cameras back in the day, the flicks in the sky.
Yeah, the
On the
flashes.
return. Yeah, man. Devin Hester, iconic. Iconic. He belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. All right.
And he is. I think he
is.
Yeah, he is. And
Yeah.
he went in early, like maybe first ballot.
I got him as the best returner of all time. Even on the Falcons, like late in his career, he took one to the house and did Dion's dance to break the record. So, hey, man, respect to the special teams guys. I don't know if Matthew Slater's going to join the list, though. So, all right. I do want to get to the I mean, this is pretty funny. An NBA segment we'll do, just a small one. We'll move off here to something else here, this block as well. But Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is in the news again, by the way. And look, Kevin Durant will go after just about anyone. How do I know this? Well, guys, I said this a couple months back. Maybe the folks who didn't hear it, I'll give a reminder, guys. This was, I want to say like in March. And this was late at night. I had commented on some post that it wasn't Kevin Durant's post or anything. It was just talking about the Rockets. And I said something like, look, Kevin Durant, he's not really helping out the Rockets a ton this year. And Kevin Durant, lo and behold, at the time, this was like 2 a.m. on the East Coast where Katie has just finished barely beating a horrible team in the NBA. Look, he responded to me, myself. He said, don't fret, I'll be out of y'all way soon. No, Katie, you're going to play as long as you can because that's the only thing you like to do. And he's saying, who are you again? I challenged him to call into the show. I don't think he ever did. But KD, look, you're back commenting on other posts now, not mine. And look, KD, you kind of started a little bit of fire here because you initially came out and defended LeBron's decision to go to the 76ers, right? And I don't know if LeBron necessarily needed a ton of defending. I mean, he's going to play the first ever year 24 season in the NBA. The guy is pretty old, but he can still play. We know what the talent is with Maxey and Jaylen Brown, but Kevin Durant came out and said, look, he's kind of trying to shake off what is still the bad PR 10 plus years later from his game-breaking decision to go and join the 73-9 team that he choked a 3-1 lead to in the Western Conference Finals. The rest is history, but KD's kind of trying to come out and say, look, this new 76er squad is better on paper than my Golden State team was, so you shouldn't have a problem with what I did in Golden State. And in process, he completely takes a dump on Klay Thompson, saying, look, we all know what Bron does. Klay Thompson, never an MVP candidate in nothing. And then Klay said, hey, man, you good? What you using my full government name for?
Yeah, listen, first of all, like, Klay Thompson fit. Like, that Warriors team actually fit together. But there's two players on this 76ers team that have ever been even close to the conversation of best player in basketball, right? Like winning MVPs, that sort of thing. That's LeBron James, and that's Joel Embiid. And LeBron is 41, right? He's nowhere near as good as he was when he was on the Heat or his second stint in Cleveland. Like, those were his best years. Even though he's still very productive, he's not that player anymore. And Joel Embiid is not what he was when he won the MVP. I know it was only a few years ago, but Joel Embiid has aged very quickly, okay? And so those other players are nice, but the players on the 76ers who are in their prime are like top 15 type players in the NBA. When you look at that Warriors team, Klay and or Steph and Kevin Durant, and like, if you want to argue that they're close to the top 10, great, but I could start naming 10 players real fast and get a lot out before Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey, in my opinion. But Kevin Durant and Steph Curry were in the absolute primes of their careers and had both won MVPs. So, sure, they probably weren't as good as LeBron at that time, but they were at least in the conversation as the best players in the world, and they were both on that team together in their prime. And their other pieces, their other best players, were actually complementary to them, right? Because Klay Thompson, yeah, he's a many-time All-NBA player. He was never like an MVP candidate, but he was a great shooter, which complemented those guys. And Draymond Green was a great defender. And all you have to do is look at the championship odds, right? Like, that Warriors team was always favored to win the championship, always, from day one. From the moment Kevin Durant got there, they probably never spent a minute of time where they weren't favored to win the championship until Kevin Durant left. Even the year they didn't win it, they were probably favored the entire season until that Game 7 happened and LeBron took it from them. And so this 76ers team is not favored to win the championship right now. That tells you all you need to know. They are not as good on paper as that Warriors team was, no matter what Kevin Durant tries to tell you.
I don't think there's a single team in NBA history that's as good on paper or in reality than the 2017 Golden State Warriors. Look, a 73-9 team, kind of, in a 30-team league is impressive as any regular season team feat as any thing you've ever seen in NBA history. I like Draymond Green was the perfect role player who was a star who played the role slot. You had Klay Thompson, maybe the best off-ball shooter of all time, who could lock up on defense. You had KD who can go out and score in one-on-one coverage 35 a night, and then Steph Curry ran the whole system.
Yeah, and that was an actual team, right? With good players, that was an actual team that had already won 73 games that added a piece. This 76ers team feels like a conglomeration of players, right? A lot of these guys are coming from the – now, I know they added Jaylen Brown and LeBron James, and maybe some of the other guys had been together, but you're also talking about a 7 seed in the East last year. It's not like you're talking about one of the best teams in the NBA that added a couple pieces. And so the proof is on the floor. It's not just in name value. And so what Kevin Durant's saying doesn't really make any sense.
I think if you talk about, on paper, Kevin Durant saying the 76ers are better than the Golden State Warriors from back in the day. Look, Joel Embiid's knees are kind of made of paper nowadays. Now, I do think there's a world where this roster gels, and because of guys like VJ Edgecombe, Dean Wade, Anthony Simons, with a long stretch of health from the starters here, I do think this team is going to be very talented. My NBA championship prediction is still pending. It's still loading. I'll have that here for you come October, no problem. But I think when you factor Joel Embiid into the mix, he's certainly the wild card. I see this two different ways. I don't think any team is really comparable to the Golden State Warriors. But I do think this roster is up there with the most, if not maybe the most talented roster right now in the NBA. And here's why. I think LeBron from the time he went to the Lakers, right? He strains the growing. He wins the championship. He hurts his ankle, right? Solomon Hill. The next season, things are all of whack with Russell Westbrook. He only plays 56 and 55 games. But since that point, the last 3 seasons, LeBron has played a lot more minutes than a lot of your favorite stars. He's played 71, 70, and 60 games. He has been quite durable compared to, let's face it, kind of a load management era here, and players just kind of taking longer to recover. I mean, Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic. We can tell you a lot of names. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who have missed some serious time here in recent years. So LeBron's durability has held up in the last couple of seasons. I'm not worried as much about him. I do think a Jaylen Brown, kind of going back to your point about top 15, Jaylen Brown is probably in the top 12 to me after last season. I think Tyrese Maxey is in my top 20. I may have even had him in my top 20 last year. I think Joel Embiid is certainly a wild card because you don't know what you're going to get with him. But I think even without Embiid, even if it's just like a Dem bonus, the starting center, that's a team that could still win the Eastern Conference. But KD, when you compare it to the Golden State Warriors, who I think would maybe mop the floor of the 96 Bulls, I'm sorry. I don't think you compare them to anybody.
Yeah, I think the Sixers got to play some games before you start making comments like that. And I think it's Kevin Durant deflecting a little bit. So, yeah, whatever. Kevin Durant will say anything that he thinks is going to make him look good.
All right, let's go to more relevant news here. It is news of the day in the NFL. Guys, Bijan Robinson. Look, we were telling you on Big Deal, No Big Deal a week or two ago. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, they're starting their... It's not a holdout, it's a hold-in. I don't think they're held hostage anywhere in the facility, but they're looking to get a contract without pissing off the higher-ups. And look, Bijan Robinson gets it. $75 million for maybe the best running back in the NFL as it currently stands from the NFC South, the ATL. They need this guy to shine, otherwise their season could be a disaster. It's 3 years, up to $75 million. $51 million is guaranteed. A $37 million, do it signing here. Is that? I don't think that's a signing bonus. What is that? I mean, that's a lot of cash.
Yeah, it can. Sometimes the signing bonuses are that way, but then they can allocate the cap hits over the course of time. I don't know, but this is close to a market reset, right? It's enough bigger than the other running back contracts that I think Bijan did a good, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get something very similar to back it up, I'm sure.
He may get more, yeah.
So that's good for running backs. I'm happy for them. Instead of just getting franchise tagged and playing hardball.
And we could see Jahmyr Gibbs. I'll even do a little prediction here. I think we'll see Jahmyr Gibbs sign tomorrow because I think Jahmyr Gibbs will slightly one-up Bijan Robinson. I don't actually know if it's the best move long-term for the Lions, but I think Jahmyr's going to have all the case in the world numbers-wise, and especially post-Montgomery trade, to warrant that type of salary, and it looks like he's going to pass up Saquon Barkley for highest-paid running back on an annual basis. So let's go to the phones here, courtesy of Maximum Outdoor Equipment. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm driving, but I had to call back. I wanted to get your thoughts on Kenneth Walker throwing the ball at Tranquil. Thanks.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I think it's great. Bring a little fire to camp, right? We talked about this a couple of days ago, right? Like it was just basically a play where Tranquil hit him a little bit, and he wasn't happy about it, and he threw the ball at him, and that's been the reports coming out of camp is that Kenneth Walker's bringing the juice, and I think that's to be expected. That's the type of player Kenneth Walker is, and anything that gets these juices flowing a little bit in camp, I like to see it. And I think Kenneth Walker is like one of two things can happen, right? You get a new contract, you get a new team, and you can kind of sit on your laurels a little bit, rest on your laurels, and kind of go the other way, or you can get some new scenery and prove that you're the player that they say you are. And I think Kenneth Walker's coming out looking to prove his contract, which, by the way, speaking of which, this Bijan Robinson contract is relevant because the Chiefs gave Kenneth Walker $15 million this offseason, and it seemed like a big contract for a running back. Now this slots in kind of about where you think Kenneth Walker should be if the top running backs are going to get $25 a year. So that feels good too.
If you have a situation where your starting running back is throwing the ball in any capacity in practice, it's usually just for fun. This is for, getting riled up. I don't think Kenneth Walker was necessarily that ticked off in the moment. We knew he was a quiet guy, so you never really know. But hey, it's typical training camp stuff. Drew Tranquill didn't really try to knock him over, but I'll tell you what, it's a better throw. It's a better look than Mahomes throwing it into the back of Creed Humphrey's head. But
yeah, and by the way, just for the numbers' sake, they're saying the average annual value on this Bijan contract is $22.25 million. So it's $66.75 million base with up to $75 million in incentives. It's guaranteed $51 million over the course of the contract. Obviously, not all of it comes at signing. So it is the richest running back contract in running back history, and I think it clears the previous one by quite a bit. So it feels like at least mildly a market reset to me.
Won't leave you in the dust here, Tim. Kind of with the Kevin Durant topic we were on. Who is the studs on that KD Nets team? Harden and Kyrie. Remember Kyrie kind of with the COVID mandate. He was unable to play some of those games. The foot on the line there from KD. That's an interesting what if in NBA history. Jim, you're a Spurs fan. It took that dummy to put his foot under Kawhi's foot. Yeah, man. I know you're talking about there. The name is somehow escaping me. Zaza Pachulia. Obviously biased, but Kawhi was going to give KD the business that series before he went out. I hate KD. Jim, hate's a strong word, but KD, sometimes he deserves it, man. He's a bit of a cupcake. But, yeah, back to the NFL here with Bijan. I think Jahmyr Gibbs signs his deal tomorrow with the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to take this deal right up to upstairs and say, hey, old Bill Russell style, back in the day with Wilt Chamberlain, give me the same contract plus $1 more.
Yeah, I think he'd be happy with the same contract plus $1. Are the Lions ready to go there? Like, if you sign second, right, you're usually going to get, like, the Lions didn't sign him first, so this is what happens. And they might have had something in mind that was a lot lower than this, but they're gonna have to match up to it now. And so, but I don't know if it necessarily happens right away, like the next day, because if they weren't near this number in previous negotiations, it might take a little while for them to get to that number.
Jahmyr's talented, dude. He really is.
Gibbs.
I don't think we've seen the best of him
From a
yet.
fantasy perspective, I'm a Gibbs over Bijan guy. I think with Montgomery, with the debt cleared, I think it's a big year for Gibbs this year. And he's already always scored more touchdowns than Bijan. He's been able to score them from far out. He's gotten more goal line carries than people realize with Montgomery, but it's the overall touches that I think will go up this year.
30 yards per game in the air, 73 yards per game on the ground. You're talking about 100 yards per game from scrimmage for his career. The guy's got
and
a lot
like
of
40
touchdowns as well.
touchdowns. Yeah.
He's a beast.
Nails.
Unleash him.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
This is The Herd.
You got to be consistent.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mike check. I think LeBron's sitting there thinking, Minnesota's got a stacked team. Philadelphia, those two teams, that's where you can win a championship. I don't think he's going there. Philadelphia's unbelievable roster. Minnesota, you'd have rim protection. You get Ant. I got LaMelo Ball. I got Jaden McDaniels. I mean, Minnesota with LeBron, would they be the co-favorite to win it?
This is The Herd.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. right here on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every school pickup line has a main character. Most days, it's the kids. But once a year, a parent pulls up in a brand new Kia Telluride. and suddenly all eyes are on Mom.
Is that the new one? I heard it comes in a hybrid now. I heard it has heated seats in all 3 rows.
And for a moment, the kids aren't the only ones in the spotlight. This August, let that parent be you, because Mom deserves to shine too. Or if it's your student's turn to get behind the wheel, find great starter cars like the K4 sedan and K4 hatchback. Plus, you can get 0% financing on brand new Sportage and Sorrento models. And every new Kia is backed by our unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Whichever model you choose, we have big savings on great vehicles for that main character energy, only at Midwest Kia.
We want to see ya in a Midwest Kia.
With approved credit, see dealer for details. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Kansas. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
If Tahoe Week was a college quarterback, you have the exact college quarterback that Tahoe Week would be. Can I guess?
Yep.
Brendan Sorsby.
No.
Okay.
Because people are gambling this week?
I mean, yeah.
I think there's only one answer.
Yeah.
It's Brady Quinn.
Stu Gatz and Company live.
Stu Gatz and Company, weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
This is The Herd.
You got to be consistent.
With Colin Cowherd.
Mike check. Is Messi the best male athlete of all time? Well, no, he's not. He's not the best athlete. I mean, Tom Brady is the most productive, accomplished football player and has never been close to the best athlete. It's interesting. I mean, Messi is 5'7" and 150 pounds. I mean, there are rides at Disneyland you got to check twice to see if he can ride it.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays at 11 a.m. right here on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app. John Stugatz, afternoons on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
Desperate and broken, the sound of a fight. Father has spoken.
Just when you think this show is terrible, something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.
Oh, guys, I have a confession to make. I've hardly ate anything all day. And so there is just one thing. There's just one thing for me to do.
Taco Tico, it's all about the taste.
I got to fill up my stomach, man, because my stomach's been growling. You guys can't hear it. I can hear it. I got to go to Taco Tico. Fill myself up with this 2 for $5 special. The taco burger, the beef sancho, the combo burrito. 13th and Tyler, 35th and Rock Road, Arc City, Newton, El Dorado, Derby, Augusta. Online orders at tacotico.us, where it's, you know the rest.
It's all about the taste.
Boom. All right, here in the Renewal by Anderson studios, Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka. Last chance to call the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines, 316-522-1410. Look, we typically have fun in these final segments of the show. I've seen a couple things. One, some of you guys were sending me some stuff with Aaron Rodgers from the McAfee show yesterday. And then two, Clay Travis with his challenge to the WNBA. Clay Travis, he wants to see. Oh man! And by the way, he is a host on KQAM 1480, the Big Talker. Guys, he wants the WNBA champions to face off against a high school boys state championship team of his choice, and there is a $10 million offer. I was thinking the offer is just to play the match. Does the WNBA team, the Aces in this case, defending champions, do they have to beat the boys team to get the 10 mil, or do they just have to
gotta
play?
win. They gotta win. Yeah, he's not just gonna give him $10 million to.
But I think he may generate $10 million though, just from the production of this.
Don't they want $10 million though? Like why have they been turning down this offer all of these
Don't you want to
years?
I mean, if you split it up amongst
that's
12
kind of his
players, that's kind of like making your salary.
Clay Travis's point is that but until this year it would have been like 4 times their salary splitting that between 12 players. And that's kind of his point though of coming out and doing this is like they're never going to take the game. And that's his point.
Wasn't there a tennis match back in the day?
Yeah, Billie Jean King versus some random guy in a tennis match.
Was it a random dude?
I mean, it wasn't a professional tennis player. And so, like, what's the point? Right? And she was like the number 1 female tennis player in the world. But people like to talk about it, so.
We enjoy our female athletes, man. I'll talk some women's college basketball. We'll talk some Caitlin Clark. Maybe a little Angel Reese sprinkled in there. Hey, man, we got you.
She played Bobby Riggs. It was called the Battle of the Sexes. It was in 1973. They did it in the Houston Astrodome, and it was a $100,000 winner-take-all prize, 30,000 attendees, and 90 million viewers worldwide.
Dude, if they did it in the 1920s, feminism would have just been off the charts. Kind of
All
was.
right. Bobby Riggs was not a random guy, but he was 55 at the time. Billie Jean King was 29, like in her prime. So he actually was a tennis player who had won Wimbledon, but he was 55 years old.
Okay,
so,
well,
yeah,
55. That's years old or ranking?
No, 55 years old.
Oh, okay. All right. I know Aaron Rodgers kind of went scorched earth on Fauci. This is like a final 2-minute segment here. I don't know if there's a ton to say here with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers, the vibes are strong. And dare I say, I'm thinking back to our comprehensive coverage where I kind of gave the Steelers the cold shoulder by predicting them to go 7-10. Aaron Rodgers has reconnected with his family. He seems like he's smiling ear to ear. Everything is going his way, right? Full circle moments. He kind of beat people to the punch, and he's on McAfee. I'm sure ESPN from time to time is thinking, man, how much longer, Pat? We're paying you all this money, Pat. We're having Aaron Rodgers on. He's causing controversy in the sports world, the political world. I like seeing Aaron Rodgers a happy camper. I think the dude is actually hilarious. I'm actually going to do this, Sasha. I really am.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to give the Steelers a boost. I'm going to give them a 1-win boost for the Aaron Rodgers vibe.
You're going to get them up to 8-9.
And
wow.
I'm going to move them to 8-9.
Congratulations, Steelers.
7-10. I think, get this, we may see a audible. Fauci. We may see a Fauci audible call.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, that might work its way into into the little.
How many did I pick the Steelers to win?
It's going to be another one of your, pre-snap audible and adjustment. I don't know what Fauci's going to mean. Maybe a flat route or something like that with the F. But Aaron Rodgers, you heard it here first. Don't be surprised if that gets picked up on the mics that are all over the NFL field.
Yeah, it'll probably go viral if it does.
I plead the fifth. You never know. All right. Enough of the nonsense, guys. The seriousness. We had some fun. We talked with Micaela Day today. If you missed it, 425. Talked Chief injuries. Talked Shocker. All-time starting 5. USC is on the docket for this fall with the Shockers in the non-con matchup. We did our Hall of Fame series. Tackled the running backs. We'll talk the wide receivers tomorrow. We should have a Chiefs player interview to play for you in tomorrow's show as well. It's been a good one. Watch it back on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. For Jay-Z, Sasha B, Fox Sports Wichita, KGSO. Have a good night.
40 to the 30. The Burgers are on.
High school football is almost here. And your one-stop source for all your high school football is your High School Football Guide from the Mid-America Sports Network. Stay tuned in and hear where you can pick up your copy. Catch each team's season schedule,